Today's January 17th. Today's quote is entitled, "What's your life mission in Srila Prabhupada's service?" What's your mission? What would you regret not having done if you were to die today? This is a question, one question you can ask yourself. If you're wondering, well, what's your nature? What should you do? How should you serve? How does Krishna want you to serve? What are your gifts? What is your dharma? Well, if you were to die today, is there any music in you that you thought about doing, or might have said, I always wanted to do this, and now it's too late, and you would regret it? Of course, you could say there are many things maybe I would regret not having done, because there's so much to do, but is there anything specifically that would really lay heavy on your heart if you were to die today, thinking I had not done this? Something you've thought about a lot. So that's one way to understand your mission. What is my music? What am I supposed to sing to the world? And if you don't know your mission, there are other questions, like if my Uncle Harry said to me, "Dear Prabhu Ji, you can do whatever you want, no problem. Whatever money you need, I will give you. So, work any job you want, do any service you want, and whatever money you need above and beyond what you're getting from that service, if you're even getting any, or getting from that job, I will pay you." So essentially, you could do anything. What would you do? If money's not a problem now, you could work in any job. And considering that you could get trained to work in any job, and you would get a job, what would you do? That's kind of an easy way to understand your nature. If you just think, well, by nature, what would I want to do? What would I naturally do? What would inspire me? So it's a very, very important question. We want to serve according to our inspiration, because it's very important to be inspired in Krishna service. And I've also said many times, don't think it's selfish, but look at it more in terms of these are gifts that you have given by Krishna, and these are gifts in the form of abilities, and if you don't use those abilities for Krishna, then it's like Krishna just gave you something valuable which you didn't put to use in his service. So if you can put them to good use in his service, definitely you should. And if you're inspired by those gifts, if you're inspired by that service, that is so important for you in your spiritual life, because as I've often said, we have seen many devotees surrender themselves right outside the door of ISKCON. They've surrendered themselves outside of ISKCON. What does that mean? They've been so surrendered to do things that totally had no connection with their nature, due to, we could say, a temple situation which was very strapped for manpower, or perhaps leadership that didn't understand a person's nature, and they had particular abilities and talents which were very inspiring to them, but they weren't engaged that way. Sometimes in trying to surrender to whatever the temple president wants, which of course we should do, but sometimes in trying to surrender to that to such a degree that they're engaged in something which is so far from their nature, they're just very unhappy, they end up leaving. So they surrender themselves right out of ISKCON. So we don't want a lot of surrendered devotees running out the door, but we want a lot of inspired devotees engaged in service which inspires them, because they'll really do that service well, and it will please Prabhupada. And the last point, we've made this before, is that Prabhupada, on many occasions, in different ways, said that service is really for us. It's really to keep us out of trouble, so to speak. So, last point I want to make, to the question which you're probably thinking, but shouldn't we be selfless? And we should be. Be selfless within your nature. I can guarantee you, whatever service you have, according to your nature, will require a lot of selflessness. Even if you like doing the service, it's going to require lots of sacrifice. You'll have to undergo troubles and difficulties. Maybe you'll have to deal with difficult people. Even though it's something you like to do, it's something that inspires you, there'll be plenty of room to surrender. Don't worry. There'll be plenty of room to give up anything selfish. I use myself as an example. I travel, I teach, I love to do it, but I go through so many austere situations and living in different environments and traveling here and there in different prasadam. So even though I love what I'm doing, it's according to my nature, I'm inspired, there's plenty of self-sacrifice that's required within that. So there'll always be self-sacrifice, so don't worry. But don't die with your music in you. If you have something that you can do for Prabhupada, don't put it off, just start working on it. Even if you don't know how to do it, just do something, do anything, just start it. Take the first step, it's really, really important. Hare Krishna.